Right. So I hope my sound is clear. Just change this. I hope my sound is clear.
Yes.
Okay, so we just want to look at some of the pairs that we didn't look at yesterday. Then if we get enough time, we'll also look into the ones that we did look into yesterday. Right. So the last time that we spoke about gold, if you all can remember or if you all can recall, the last time that we did speak about gold, we spoke about these. Let me just summarize almost everything that we did speak about. Remove this. So gold, it's a very good pair once you know what you're doing, right? Once you know what you're doing, trust me, once you now know and understand what is happening on the markets, gold, you really, it's one of those pairs that can really make you very good money even in a very short space of time. So the last time that we spoke, it just illustrated this simple price action. Where you said we have a simple breakup structure here on the daily, and we have a demand where we are potentially going to target. So price can actually come all the way to that demand before they keep on what? Before they keep on buying. Then I think I did then up there I think I also explained the fact that they can possibly tap or touch 3,500 before they drop. So 3,500 like that before they drop. This was 3,500. Okay. This was 3,500 like this. So this was what we spoke about, right? Then we said we're anticipating a pullback to this zone. So which means from the time that it started selling, uh, you're supposed to actually still be holding cells. So now going to the H4, which is where the cells began. I think I explained fully how throughout these entire times they were trying really to break these buying ranges that the market was creating, but they were failing. They were also failing here. Then here, I think they also failed. I'm not so sure, but I think they failed. So and they also said once they break, once they break a buying range, they are going to what? To start selling. Once they break the buying range, that's when they are going to start selling, and they are going to start maintaining what? Selling ranges to the downside. So going deeper now, I think because this is a summary, which is these cells are simply a summary because last time we did speak about them. The last time that we were here, we did speak about these cells. So pause a bit. This buying range wasn't broken, and the next buying range is this one. They touched 3,500, which is now our current all-time high. We now have this as a buying range like this. Then once they break below here, you know that they are what? They are overly now starting to sell, right? So there are three things here. Let me just put them here on my chart. There are three or four, rather. Let me see. Number one, for you to start selling, right? These are the conditions that you need to wait for. H4, H4, sell range break, right? The selling range was supposed to be broken on the H4, and the buying range, I mean, was supposed to be broken on the H4. Then they start creating selling ranges. Then maintain, maintain what? Selling ranges on that same H4 time frame. So on the lower time frames, how does it appear? It has to appear having an overall downtrend on the lower time frames. So these are things that you're supposed to. So last point there, focus is mainly on sales, because once we're now bearish, what's the point of us now looking for other things? So these are the conditions that you're supposed to wait for before you start selling, of which in this case, that was the H4 range break. And if you wanted to enter before that H4 buying range was broken, if you go to the M5, for example, which is the lowest that you can go, they were giving you beautiful price action to the upside. If you look at it, that was a simple break of structure, another break of structure here, and another break of structure here. Then they touched 3,500. Then here they changed character. So according to that alone, you're even supposed to start selling where? Just immediately after this change of character, even if you entered your sales like this, stop loss above there. Obviously, in this case, our target is way, 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 way down. So you are not really exiting that trade or that position necessarily. You are simply looking forward for a potential scaling in opportunity. That's what you are looking forward for. So that was how you could have entered using M5. If you're still focused on the H4, you're not going to even enter that opportunity up there, right? So after that, the H4, I believe they now broke the buying range. Uh, they have to close below that. They actually closed below that. They closed below our buying range, so meaning we're now focusing on selling ranges. Um, them focusing on selling ranges. It also means, remember on the lower time frames, these are right. You have something like this. Okay. If we go back to the M5, for example, M5 like this, we have to see bearish market structure still being maintained throughout. So meaning every time when you get, for example, I think I explained multiple of these opportunities in the last session that we had. Even this one where they broke here, they came here, kind of manipulated, then they still dropped. You're supposed to sell there as well. Then they broke structure again here. Then this M5 change of character, you must know what it means when you're looking at a higher time frame perspective, right? When you're looking at a higher time frame perspective, does this mean that we're now overly buying, or it simply means something else? If you go back to the higher time frame, you must be able to answer that question right there from there. So according to the H4, they are still selling, right? They are still selling. And if you look at the current selling range in this case, they broke this low with this candle, so meaning this high, and not only it's low, but and the next low, that's now a selling range like this. That is our new selling range, and they have to maintain that. So I'll just mark my selling range in a unique color, like let me just put it something like this, something like this. So long they are still there, they are bearish. So meaning that change of color that happened, they will still need to recorrect or realign up until they give you sales. Because now, according to other time frames like your what you call this, your 15-minute and all that, still within the selling range, there were opportunities for you to still sell, especially up there. If you look at this, that was a range break that happened there. You could have sold and actually made some money from that, even if they would have came back, obviously, and taken you out. But still, that initial confirmation could have given you those initial sales. Then you just play and see how price will play out. But so this H4 selling range, so long they haven't broken it, they are still going to sell. That's one thing that you must know for sure. They are still going to sell. They are still going to keep on selling. So they played around within this whole overall selling range. So which means those sales that we took from up there, according to M5, according to even M15, you would have even held them all the way to this level. I think this was over how many pips were those? Over 2,000 pips actually. Uh, right. So here, I think they broke. Did they break or they didn't? They haven't broken. But they're still in a what? In a selling range. So that's why I said here, even if you sold here, put your stop loss just above this region here. Let me just put this in a different color. Okay, something like this. Okay, right. So if you sold here, stop loss above here, right? Then they dropped, then they went up, dropped again. Um, this is the confirmation to go up, even if you had bought also there because of that confirmation. The stop loss was supposed to be below here, below this zone here. Then obviously maybe your TP, you're targeting the top of the range, which they didn't get all the way up there, which is also not a problem. Then they get there and they give another shift again down, which is this one, which means we're selling there. Stop loss were above this zone. Then in this case, potentially someone was going to target some level there, something like this. So it's a matter of just you following through with price and understanding what a shift is. And once you see the shift, you also need to understand that I'm in and I'm into what level, to what level am I going to still hold the trade to? So they just came to the bottom like that. Obviously, they didn't break. They didn't break initially. Did they break? They did. Okay, they didn't break. They give us a shift up here. It means you're buying. These are just simple principles of institutional price action. If they close above here, something like this. Them closing above here, you're supposed to buy somewhere around this level here. Stop loss, even if you put it here, you're supposed to raise it higher again as the market was now going up. Then you just follow through on price. As the price will now be creating these new M15 ranges, you would have shifted stop loss to break even long time ago, something like this. So that even if they come back to your entry like that, you're never going to lose anything necessarily. But rather, if you look at here, they gave you a selling opportunity here by this shift down. So meaning they would have sold, stop loss here. You're also still keeping in mind that on the H4, we're still in a what? In a selling range. You're not forgetting that. And also, if you look at even this price action, you can see that okay, this law they they came there, they rejected, and that rejection or failure to create a new higher high, that was a sign that we are potentially going to start dropping. Then they came and took out the law. So already signs of a bearish market were now kicking in on the lower time frame. Combining that with the H4 selling range that they were still in, it was going to be a very uh, beautiful confluence. Uh, are we guys on the same page? Is there anyone who is lost? Like who doesn't even know what we're talking about now? Like who can say, me, I can't even understand what is being discussed here. Right. So that was also another simple buying opportunity. I think they were just buying to wipe out that liquidity and tap maybe a supply zone, which is around here. We have a supply that is there. You have a supply zone there, which was here. Then once they tap the supply, we're not jumping in necessarily immediately. We're waiting for a proper shift. Then we jump in, of which we had a proper shift up there. If you go to 10 minute, if you go to 15 minute, if you go to 5 minute, I mean, you can see that there was a proper shift that you could have utilized for you to enter the cells. Here they tried to break this buying range. They failed. The only time that they broke a buying range was now here. So according to M5, this is where you're supposed to sell, which was just slightly here. Your stop loss above here, like this, and your TP, you're still going back to higher time frame structure like this. You can see that here we now have a potential lower high. So potentially, if that is a lower high, you know that potentially they are even going to come and take out this law that they've created. So already you can even start to extend your your targets of the sales. So honestly speaking, trust me, if you really work on your understanding of the market, how much money you make from the market, it's we can't even put a limit to it. I've seen people who ask me some funny questions, funny questions like, I want to ask you, so when am I going to start making money or when am I going to start being profitable? It's dependent upon your understanding when it's also going to the real question there the main the real question there must be, when is my understanding going to solidify? That's the main question that you must ask, not the question where you say, when am I going to start being profitable? When am I going to start making money? It's still dependent on your understanding of price action, or your understanding of the market, basically. You don't know if you're getting this. So, let me just fast forward this so that we come to just pause here. Let I explain something here. You have this as well. According to H1, obviously this is a selling range. You just pull back within it, then they obviously continue down. Then if you go to lower time frames now within that selling range like that, um, your entries or your trades whatsoever, you basically have to find yourself entering them at the top. So example here, That's a lower high according to this, right? And according to this is just a fake out that they did. Then they came back inside. So after the fake out there, by the time the market came back inside here, even if you sold like this, stop loss up there, then our TP, we're still stretching it all the way up until they take out these lows there, like this. Then as they were going down like here, you can see a proper clear market that was going down. They were taking out the lows, pull back, take out the lows, pull back, broke here. Then they did this pullback, then they broke again here. So multiple selling opportunities were available here. Even here, when this shift happened, you could have sold. They came again, they shifted again. You could have sold again. So there was there, there were multiple, multiple opportunities to sell. So even if you waited for 15 minutes, you're supposed to wait for this inner shift, then you could have sold there, stop loss above. So it's still on in the same thing as well. So these are just multiple trades that you could have taken if you were following through each and every single shift that was happening on the lower time frame. But overall, they were selling, right? To understand that if you're still holding the sales that you took up there, by the time the market now breaks this outside of this H4 selling range. So here they came down here, they shifted again back up. Even if you bought, you are buying with an understanding as well. Then here they gave another shift. Right. I think this was where someone asked a question on the TikTok session that we just finished, where they asked why did you mark this other this other order block and not the other one? So I think this is where the answer is going to be. So looking at this price action, you can see that here we took out the lows, obviously. Then we have a pullback, and this pullback, when you're marking your order blocks, obviously you need to start from the highest or the extreme order block rather. And according to the levels or the order of extreme order blocks, this was the order. And that I think I explained here that this was simply liquidity that they established there. Even if you put or you drew this order block here, you're not supposed to jump in immediately by the time the market tap on the order block. You enter after you have a shift. For example, I explained the shift idea or the whole shifting thing. I think I explained it fully. Even if you wanted to enter these counter buys, you could have also entered them where you have a proper shift to the upside. In this case, your proper shift, I think it happened around these levels. Shifted, then they came back here. They just manipulated that, then they corrected again here. So still, you could have bought even here. If you bought here, your stop loss just here, then boom, you're targeting the supply where you want to sell. Then once they shift down, in this case, the shift down was here. Then I said, even if you sold here below here, right, and put your stop loss above, still, um, above here, still you're still going to make profit. Obviously, you're going to encounter this drawdown, blah, 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 blah. Then I said also, even once they get here and they start to give you other confirmations, like in this case, I can see other confirmations happened here. Even if we now entered again, more trades there, stop loss still the same. TP, our TP is based on the higher time frames, which is in this case, we are looking at the H4 time frame. So according to H4, we also need to um, look into how deep they will go. So if you also use Fibonacci there, you have that leg there before the pullback. Then you have negative 27, you have negative 61.8. So negative 27 is one of the targets, negative 61.8 is also the other target. Remember, the ultimate target is this demand here. This is a demand that it can actually be fully hit, I think, by next week. Next week, they can actually find themselves hitting this level here, of which today, is it tomorrow or today? It's tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday, there is NFP. Is it NFP? Yes, it is. So even the direction of NFP is not really a complicated direction when you are looking at all the factors. I think in the morning we will have another session again where I'm going to look at all the pairs that you can focus on for NFP if you're going to trade NFP. Then you you just trade accordingly based on what we would have spoken. So gold has just been flowing. Like, to be honest, gold has just been flowing. It has just been flowing. It, it's all a matter of understanding. Sometimes people they can get trapped in the what do you call this? They can just trapped in the moment where you can't see things properly and all that. If you find yourself now not seeing the market properly, those are moments where you need to take a break and then come back when whatsoever was making you not to see the market properly is gone. So is everything clear? Is everything clear to everyone? Is everything clear? So even here, they've just been dropping and dropping. So by the time now the market starts to create these new selling ranges on the M15, those stop losses that were initially up there, by the time even you come and break here, you can now even protect your positions by putting the stop loss to break even. The whole point of the reason why I'm not the kind of person who recommends people to just come out of positions randomly is because I understand the law of maximization where if you are not careful, you miss out on a whole lot of money from the markets unaware, right? Let me just remove this. So in this case, if you look at this trade here, even if you're following it through candle by candle, candle by candle, candle by candle, all the way from your entry point, candle by candle, follow up that you're going to be doing, still you would have realized that no selling range was broken. No selling range was broken. Then here they almost broke the selling range. So them breaking the selling, even if you had decided now to exit right here, that was going to be a reasonable exit. But check how much money you would have made simply by following through and not just saying I'm exiting on the previous on the previous low. That style of trading, yes, in as much as it sounds correct, but once you grow in understanding and you mature, you'll discover that there's a better way of dealing with that issue. So here they now broke structure there. They now broke structure here, right? Gave a pullback here. Obviously, they didn't break this selling range. Gave a pullback here, dropped down. So according to M15, they still have to also take out a certain level up there. But according to 10-minute now and other lower time frames, you can see properly that even let me just put this confirmation here. Even other cells that you could have caught, for example, if you're looking at 10-minute time frame, right here, that was a confirmation to sell. You could have sold immediately here. Even if you sold immediately, your stop loss was supposed to be up here. Then they went down, went down, went down. Came obviously and give another shift here. Gave a shift up, gave another shift down. That shift down, even if you had sold, obviously it didn't continue going that much, but it actually did sell a bit. So now, looking at the fact that here, I think they've changed character right here. I think I explained this via the TikTok session. And then here, you're supposed to buy. Them tapping there, you're supposed to buy up after the candle shift. The candle shift on M5, it's actually this one. Then obviously you're targeting these highs here. And for those that were listening, I said buy. Do you remember me saying buy on the TikTok live? I actually said buy and the market was here, was around here. And look at where it is now. This is not this is not a guesswork thing. where we just say things that we feel like saying. It's a matter of once you know the codes, once you know the principles, rather, once you know the principles, you can do exploits now. Once you now know the principles, some of you, you want to perform at a high level, you want to perform at level 10, but your knowledge is level 1 knowledge. You can't cheat the market. Trust me. I've heard people online saying fun things like, "Hey, you can cheat, cheat, cheat." You can't cheat. There's no market. The market is like life. You can't cheat your way through life, right? You can't cheat your way through life. You have to grow to whatever level that you want to get to. You have to. You basically have to qualify yourself to perform at a certain high level. So entering here, even if your stop loss is on break even, imagine now you're holding profits. Even here where I told you to buy, you can even put your stop loss to break even if you followed that simple instruction. So even for this May masterclass, it's going to be a unique one, especially in the academy, where I'm going to openly tell the students when to go aggressive, right? If there is any way to go aggressive, I'm going to openly show them where they have to increase their risk and where they have to minimize their risk. I'm going to show all those things in the masterclass, which is starting on Monday, this coming Monday. I'm going to share all those things there. So, this buy, obviously, I said, how far can it go? I think we explained that, where we're just going to the same idea where we are maintaining selling ranges on the H4. So, here, the new selling range that we have on the H4 time frame is literally this is the high and this is the low. I think the low is this one. I think this is the low. I think this is the low of that selling range. So with that, they can even pull back. They can even come all the way to this level here. So going to a lower time frame, you just need to identify any other level that is attached to that top of that selling range. And I think I explained and I said there's a breaker block which is here, which can be one of your targets, which can be a target, just like that. So tomorrow morning, I think you will look at other pairs as well as look at the DXY just to, but so far you can see that this is bearish. This is a bearish market. So depending on where the market is going to be tomorrow, it's going to determine how NFP will play out. But so far, so good. This is how you're supposed to trade gold for the past 1 week. So imagine how much money you would have made in 1 week from the 22nd of April to today, which is just almost 8 or 9 days. Imagine how much money you could have made if you are simply following all these things that I was explaining here. Imagine how much money, even if you're taking all this setup by setup, setup by setup, setup by setup, or even if you're just focusing on the selling setups only, still you could have made a whole lot of money, a whole lot of money. What is keeping people poor is not the lack of money. That's why I told you the last time. Someone, if you find someone who is broke, someone who lacks, someone who is claiming that they are poor or whatever, it's not only money that they don't have. Hmm? It's not only money that they don't have. It's not only money that that person will not be having. There are so many other things that they don't have. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the understanding. They don't have all those things, right? They don't have all those things that bring money. They don't have all those things. So that's it, guys. Anyone with a question before we close? in on the question before we close? Any question before we close? Everything was clear? Any question before we close, or everything was clear? Not do that again. I just want to confirm also big test strategy. So I started at H4 and marked the key factors and market structure, and then you went down to M15 and marked the other blocks and M15. After you went down to M5 and wait for the price, go back to the other block and also wait for the big structure and then place stop loss above the other. Yes. So that's what I did. I started from the daily actually, not from the H4. Started from the daily, looked at the most important price action, which is here. Then H4, right? Um, it's not complicated. It's not complicated. It's not even complicated. So guys, that's it. I'm done. I am done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I am done. See you tomorrow for NFP. See you all tomorrow for NFP. Stop this.